أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر
الله أكبر
لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا ومن يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يهد الله هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا واتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا واتقوا الله قولا سديدا يصلح لكم ويغفر لكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يخذل الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما ثم أما بعد. All praise and thanks be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We praise Him and we seek His help. We seek protection from the evils of ourselves and the bad results of our actions. Whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides right, no man can lead astray. And whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leads astray, no man can guide right. And I openly bear witness there's no God worthy of worship except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi is His slave, servant, and messenger. Oh, you who believe. Fear Allah ta'ala as He should be feared and die not accepting the state of al-Islam as Muslimun. O mankind, be dutiful to your Lord who created you from a single person, Adam alayhi wa salatu wa salam. And from him He created many men and women. Fear Allah and do not cut off the ties of kinship. He, Allah, will put your deeds in the right state for you, forgive you your sins, your faults, and whoever follows Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is indeed achieved the great success. Verily the finest of speech is the speech of Allah ta'ala in the Quran. That's the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The worst of affairs are no doubt the newly invented matters. Verily every newly invented matter is innovation, and for every innovation is a misguidance, and for every misguidance is a blazing fire. May Allah protect us from that. Ameen. What is to proceed? Well, alhamdulillah, we have made it to this Yawm al-Jumu'ah, which coincides with Eid. Which coincides with Eid. Alhamdulillah, great ni'mah. At the beginning of Ramadan, two earthquakes erupted. And many people died from those earthquakes. And not just at the beginning of Ramadan, all throughout Ramadan, we've been losing companions, friends, family members. People have been passing away. There's a great ni'mah in dying in the month of Ramadan as a believer. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, there's whole books about it. Dying in the month of Ramadan is a great blessing. But, MashaAllah, tabarakallah, of course, like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, the eyes shed tears and the heart feels sorrow. But never will we say a thing that is disrespectful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. this day of celebration, this day of Eid that we're here to celebrate. You know, alhamdulillah, the Imam, he gave a beautiful speech this morning, heart-wrenching, you know, tear-dropping. You know, I could go on and on and on, but beautiful speech, beautiful words, reminders of Allah and His Rasul, right? And inshallah ta'ala, I just want to give a snippet, a little piece of a reminder of what I can do in this allotted time. Today, inshallah ta'ala, I'd like to speak about gratitude. You know, gratitude. You know, all throughout this month, when I speak about Ramadan, I speak about, this is not the month of fasting. You know, I started off like that. It's not the month of fasting, because when you think of fasting, it's like you're losing something, you can't do something, it's taking something away. You know, but the reality of it is that this is the month of the Quran, which we are celebrating an opportunity, the criteria between right and wrong, and an opportunity to get back to Jannah, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has one verse in the Quran that tells us about this month. But as we went through this ayat again and again and again and again and again, I'd like to put the magnifying glass on the tail of this ayat. The whole purpose for Ramadan. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in this ayah, شَهْرُ رَمَضَانَ الَّذِي أُنزِلَ فِيهِ الْقُرْآنُ هُدًى لِلنَّاسِ وَبَيِّنَاتٍ مِنَ الْهُدَى وَالْفُرْقَانِ فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْهُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْهُ وَمَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ الْأَوَّلَ شَهْرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ. This is the part I want to get to. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ وَلِتُحْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. That part, that ending part, we know this is the month in which we revealed the Quran. Alhamdulillah. Right? And if you sight the moon, right, spend this time fasting, right? But if you're ill or on a journey, we make some exceptions for you, right? But then Allah says, and it's the Furqan. It's the, you know, He gave us the guidance, the Furqan between right and wrong. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Then He comes and says, Allah does not want to make things hard for you. He wants to make it easy for you, right? That you may show gratitude, that you may magnify His name and show gratitude. That's what this speech is about. Gratitude, right? Being humble and appreciative of every little thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you. Inshallah ta'ala, it's my intention in this speech to talk about the gifts that we got just from witnessing this month of Ramadan, especially if you used it in your acts of ibadah. Because everybody increased in one way or another in this month, inshallah, right? And inshallah, Allah will accept it from us. So again, Allah said about that part, He said Allah intends for you ease, and He does not want to make things difficult for you. He wants that you complete your number of days, your iddah, and that you may magnify Allah's name for being guided, right? This is the difference between, and being grateful. This is the difference between shukr and alhamd, right? Being thankful and praise. The scholars have a debate about this. You know, about what is the difference between the two. And there's some difference. I'm not going to go into that right now. The difference is they both equal gratitude. They both equal gratitude. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah 16, Surah An-Naml, Ayat 18, where He said, and if you would count the favors of Allah, never would you be able to count them. Truly, Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. Now, if you got a pen and pad and try to count the favors of Allah, believe me, there will be no way. You know, the best way to thank Allah, right? Who thanks Allah? The person who's having a problem with their eyesight, every day they thank Allah. Ya Allah, thank you when I can see good. You know, person with a hurt toe, when you stump your toe, you say, alhamdulillah, my feet feel good today. You know, when you feel the ni'mah, the gift, when you realize what it is, when He takes something away from you, it reminds you on what to thank Him for. But the majority of the time, we probably forget to thank Him for our blood coagulating properly. We forget to thank Him for our heart beating properly until you have a heart attack. Then you start to remember, Ya Allah, thank you, please. you know. You beg him for those things that we forget about. This Eid marks the celebration for us. And so do both Eids and every Jumu'ah. But we cannot forget that this also is a celebration. The shaitan is also getting ready to celebrate, right? Because he's about to be released. He's about to be released from his shackles. And hopefully, inshallah ta'ala, the aspects of being that we practice through this month, we've built up, as the Imam said earlier, we were in a training program. We were in a training program for 30 days. And if we were training properly, the Eid doesn't start the kufr or the dhum. We don't start doing wrong now. Alhamdulillah, that Ramadan's over, we can go party now. La. This training ground that we were in, we should just continue. This is how they say, how do you know if your Ramadan was accepted? If by chance you continue to implement the good that you've done during the month of Ramadan, you know that your Ramadan was accepted. That's what the scholars say. MashaAllah. As we look at both Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, they both narrated that Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when the Ramadan comes, the gates of paradise are open and the gates of hell are closed and the devils are chained up. So now that the month of Ramadan is over, he's about to be released. So he's ready to party. He's ready to get you. He's upset. So again, we have to walk into this next month with the same practices that we had in Ramadan. That's what's going to save us, right? We must use the routine and the behavior that we had in this blessed month of Ramadan. The habits that we had to move through it throughout the year. And you know that they say for the companions, they used to, after Ramadan, for 6 months they had asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept it from them. 6 months straight. And then after that, 6 months they said, Ya Allah, help us, bless me with Ramadan. Bless me with another Ramadan. Because people dying, left and right. They don't get to see Ramadan. So this is a great ni'mah. Life itself is a great ni'mah, right? So we must use these routines, as we found, to give shukr to Allah, thanks to Allah, and hamd, to defend against what the shaitan is coming with. Iman, belief, implies shukr, or gratefulness, as opposed to kufr is ungrateful, right? Allah said in Surah 2, Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat 152, He said, therefore, remember me by praying, glorifying, and I will remember you, and be grateful to me for the countless favors I have given you, and never be ungrateful to me. And narrated Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah Azza wa Jalla said, Qudsi hadith, right? I am just as my slave thinks I am, and I am with him when he remembers me. And if he remembers me to himself, I too remember him to myself. And if he remembers me in a group of people, I remember him in a group that is even better than them. And if he comes to me in a span nearer to me, I go to him in a cubit nearer to him. And if he comes to me in a cubit nearer to me, I go to him in a distance of 2 outstretched arms nearer to him. And if he comes to me walking, I go to him running. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. MashaAllah. You're not trying to earn this friendship of Allah like Ibrahim. That's what we're trying to earn. This love of Allah. It makes this whole thing, it balances out this what we have in this world. All these jabars that are pointing and giving orders and directions, and mistreating folks. Allah's justice, and He brings justice. And inshallah, when we meet Him, as Allah tells us in this, through His blessed lips of His Rasul, there are 2 times that the fasting person is overjoyed. When he breaks his fast and when he meets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So being grateful to Allah is the sunnah of all of the prophets. It's the sunnah. So we just need to follow the sunnah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about Ibrahim in Surah 16, Al-Nahl, where He says, ayat 120, verily Ibrahim was a ummah, a leader, having all the good righteous qualities, or a nation, obedient to Allah, Hanifi, to worship none but Allah. And he was one of those who were a mushrik, And he was not one of those who are mushrikun. He was not a polytheist, an idolater, disbeliever in the oneness of Allah. And those who join in worship with Allah. Allah goes on to say, he was thankful to his Lord Allah for the favors. And Allah, chose him as an intimate friend and guided him to the straight path, this Islamic monotheism. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then goes on to tell us about Noah in Surah 17, Isra, Ayah 3, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O offsprings of those whom we carried in the ship with Noah, right? Verily, he was a grateful slave. And as for Abu Qasim, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, right? Aisha, she told us that when the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was occupied himself in prayer, he observed long prostrations and standing in prayer, that his feet were swollen. Aisha said, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you do this in spite of the fact that all of your earlier and later sins have been pardoned for you? Thereupon he said, Aisha, should I not prove myself to be a thankful servant of Allah? You know, again, the difference of being thankful to Allah is kufr. It's kufr. We must follow the sunnah and know that gratitude to Allah is for our own benefit. It's for your own soul. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about his prophet, not his prophet, a righteous slave, Luqman, right? In Surah Luqman 31, ayat 12, where Allah says, and indeed we bestowed upon Luqman al-hikmah, saying, give thanks to Allah, and whoever gives thanks, he gives thanks for the good of his own self. And whoever is ungrateful, then verily Allah is rich, free of all needs, worthy of all praise. Right? We must be grateful for every morsel of food. And in this fasting, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, I don't know if you've seen it, but for me, I definitely see that fasting this month made me appreciate every morsel of food that I got. You know, it made me appreciate the cooker. It made me appreciate the halal rizq, the money that I had to go buy it. The person who cooked it, that took the time to prepare it and sat it on the table for me. You know, and I'm sure by now you know that, you know, many of us, right before the time of fasting, sometimes we occupy ourselves with things other than what we should be. But this is a time for dua. This is the time to make much dua, right? And I love to make dua for the person who cooked the food for me. Because again, mashallah, tabarakallah, you have to appreciate everything, every ni'mah, every gift that Allah gave you. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat 172, he said, O you who believe in the oneness of Allah, eat of the lawful things that we have provided for you, and be grateful to Allah if it is indeed He whom you worship. And Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he reported that Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that he went out of his house on a night or in a day that he found it was a strange time. In other words, I believe it was night. I believe it was day, because it said that it was a time when people don't come out the house because the sun is so high. It's hot at that moment. And he found Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Umar radiallahu anhu. He said, what brought you out of your house at this hour? They said, Allah's Messenger, it is hunger. Thereupon he said, by him in whose hand is my life, what has brought you out has brought me out too. He said, get up. They got up along with him, and all they went to the house of an Ansari. But he was not home. When his wife saw him, he said, most welcome. And Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to her, where is so-and-so, your husband, the Ansari? She said, he is going to get us some fresh water for us. When the Ansari came, he saw Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his two companions. He said, praise be to Allah. No one has more honorable guests today than I have. He then went out and brought them a bunch of ripe grapes, dried grapes, and fresh grapes, and said, eat of them. He then took hold of a long knife for slaughtering the goats and the sheep. Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, said to him, beware of killing the mitch animal. Right? He slaughtered a sheep for them, and after that they ate and drank. And when they had taken their full and had been satisfied with it and their drink, Allah's Messenger ﷺ said to Abu Bakr and Umar, by him in whose hand is my life, you will certainly be questioned about this bounty on this day of judgment. On the day of judgment. Hunger brought you out of your house, then you didn't return until that bounty had came to you. So again, it shows that the importance of thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything we have, every morsel of food, everything. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Ramadan is a gift to us. It's a gift to us, a celebration for us. And it helps too, as the brother said, it's a school. It's a school, but also it's a time to replenish our love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the gifts that He's given us. So if we can ponder over some of the benefits of this month of Ramadan, for instance, the fasting, which we just completed, alhamdulillah. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he said that the Masjid of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, every deed of the son of Adam will be multiplied between 10 and 700 times. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, except the fast, it is for me, and I shall reward for it. And he gives up his desires and his food for my sake. So alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the angels how to document each thing that you did in terms of ibadah, okay, for this he gets this number of barakats and hasanats, between 10 and 700. But he said for the fast, I'll take care of that, MashaAllah. MashaAllah. To see the face of Allah, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to speak directly to you, to give you a gift. This is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, they stay up all night seeking His face. Stay up all night seeking His face. Exactly what it means. Right? Narrated, Sa'id said that the Prophet ﷺ said, in paradise there is a gate called Rayyan, Al-Rayyan, through which those who used to fast will enter on the day of resurrection. And no one will enter after it. It will be said, where are the people who fasted? They will get up, and no one will enter it but them. When they have entered, the gate will be locked, and no one else will enter. This is narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari and Muslim. So again, the fast is a great gift. It's a great gift. So what else about fasting? It was narrated by Abu Salama that Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, whoever fasts the month of Ramadan out of faith and seeking the reward, his previous sins will be forgiven. So may Allah bless us with the gates of Al-Rayyan. Ameen. May Allah forgive us all our sins, major and the minor ones, the ones done in public and the ones done in private. The sins that we did, that we remembered, and the ones that we forgot. The ones that we did in the past and the ones we did in the future. May Allah forgive us. Ameen. May we reap the joy when we break our fast and when we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Abu Ayyub radiallahu anhu, he reported that the Masjid of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, whoever fasts the month of Ramadan and follows it with 6 days of Shawwal, it will be as if he fasted his lifetime. So this is how we carry our acts of ibadah that we did in Ramadan outside of Ramadan. Because there are 6 days of Shawwal that are coming. Right? And the sunnah is to fast those 6 days. It's as if you fasted your whole life. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. How can we not be grateful for these gifts? I mean, again, here with, right here, the risk is dollars and cents. But there, the risk, the benefit is good deeds. As we know, the only thing that goes with you in your grave is your deeds. If they were good, mashallah, tabarakallah, they come to you as a handsome young man, with fragrances and so forth and so on. Your grave becomes spacious and blah, blah, blah. Right? If your deeds were wretched, then it comes to you as a snake who constantly bites you. You know, the grave constricts in your ribs, and you smell the foul smell, right? So inshallah ta'ala, we're looking to do good deeds so that we can reap the benefit for this great month, this benefit. You know, this is a beneficial month. Let us look at the great ni'mah of Laylatul Mubarakah, right? The night of barakah, right? Allah says about Laylatul Qadr 3 things. What will make you know what is the night of power? What will make you know what it is? One thing is that it is better than 1,000 months. And of course, people did their math. They said 83 years plus 4 months, mashallah, tabarakallah, which means a lifetime. You did a lifetime of ibadah if you caught this time, right? What else? Second thing is that Ruh Qudus, the angel that delivered the Quran in the first place. The angel, the honorable angel. Tanazzilu. All the angels come down by the order of Allah. And the Ruh al-Qudus. Right? He comes down. Why? To see you worshiping Allah. Alhamdulillah. Why is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the angels to bow down to Adam? Why? The important thing is that because we have like the jinni, we have free will, but we have an intellect. What did Allah say? He said, because I taught him the names of all things. He has knowledge. Mankind has knowledge. And with knowledge, we should be thankful. Right? What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in Surah Ar-Rahman? He gave us eloquent speech. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. The most eloquent of speech, the best of speech, the speech of Allah in the Quran. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And that was revealed during this month. The Quran. This is what we celebrate. Right? And the third thing is that night, it's peace. The scholars say that when the angels come down, they come down with the good, the peace, all those things that will be a benefit to you. And it's reenacted, it's brought out in that way. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Of course, we know the reading of the Quran, as the Imam spoke to us earlier about the Quran. He said that, if we read the Quran every single day during the month of Ramadan, please don't put your books on the shelf and start to collect dust now. This is not the time to put it up. Just as you eat, he said, just as you eat every day, your 3 times a day, you want to know where's your food at? You should also want to know where's your Quran at. Where's your Quran at? And you need to read your Quran every single day. You should have a relationship with the Quran. And we know that Angel Jibril used to come to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam every day during the month of Ramadan and go back and forth with his Quran with him. You recited to him, you recited back to him. He listened to it and he read it to him. And because of it, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was as generous as the flowing wind. Right? And that's what the Quran is supposed to do to us. So again, as we go outside of this month of Ramadan, do not give up on your relationship with the Quran. So many gifts in this month that I can't even mention. We don't have the time to mention all of the gifts. But this month, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, it was a great gift. I mean, when I saw the 1 to 20 days go by so fast, I mean, I spoke with many brothers. Many brothers said, I can't even believe this. We went through 1 through 20 so fast. We're down to the last 10 days already. And look, it's already over. It's already over. They call it a visitor. And it is just like a visitor. If you don't appreciate it when it comes, by the time it's gone, you're like, it happened too fast. It happened so fast. So inshallah, may Allah bless us all to see another Ramadan and another Ramadan and reap the benefits for the Ramadan as well. Ya muqallib al-qulub, qalbi thabit, qalbi ala dinik. Oh, turn our hearts towards the deen. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وعد عذاب النار. قولي هذا واستغفر الله ولي ولكم. الحمد الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين النبي الأمة وعلى آله وأصحابه وأجمعين ثم أما بعد. So all the gifts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, not only through this month, but also through our life, it was unique to you. These gifts are unique to you. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Mulk. He says, تبارك الذي بيده الملك هو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, blessed is he in whose hand is the dominion, who gives life and death that he may test you. So all of your benefits, all of your gifts, all of the ni'mah that Allah gave to you personally, is for you personally. It's your gift. You know? And I remind you as I remind myself, ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُونَ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَيْنَ النَّعِيمِ. Surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask us about this ni'mah on the day of resurrection. So we must use this ni'mah. We must use it. And all, as Prophet Muhammad said, all of the ways of the believer is astonishing. When good comes to him, he says, Alhamdulillah. And when evil comes to him, what he thinks is evil, he says, Alhamdulillah. Why? Because we believe in the qadr, the good and the bad of it. We've already signed on to that. Right? Just think about it. If you take all of your things that you call a problem, each of you, if we pass the bag around, everybody put their problem in this bag, and we shook the bag up, and then we pass the bag around saying, now take a problem out. You pick up this problem and say, oh no, give me my problem back. I don't want your problem. Your problem is unique to you, just like your gifts are unique to you. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. But, inshaAllah ta'ala, I'd like to speak in this second part about a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who was gifted much, just like we're gifted much, right? As Allah said, if you try to count the ni'mah, there's no way to count them. Let's talk about a slave of Allah. Allah tells us about the gifts He gave to Sulaiman, alayhi wa salatu wa salam, in Surah 38, As-Sad. Ayat 35, where Allah said, He said, my Lord, forgive me and bestow upon me a kingdom such as shall not belong to any other after me. Verily, you are the bestower. So he subjected to him the winds, and it blew gently by his order, wheresoever he willed. And also the shayateen, the devils from the jinn, including every kind of builder and diver. And also he bound the feathers. Allah said to Sulaiman, this is our gifts, so spend them or withhold them. No account will be asked of you. Alhamdulillah. A true king on earth. These dudes out here that want to pretend like they're kings, they're not kings. No, they're not kings. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says on the day of resurrection, where are kings now when He's rolled up the earth? Where are kings now? No, the king that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala appointed as a king, Sulaiman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us about Sulaiman. In ayat 34, Sabah, ayat 12, where he said, and to Solomon we subjected the winds. Its morning stride from sunrise to mid-dawn was a month's journey. And its afternoon stride from midday to sunset, it was a month's journey. Meaning, he can travel 2 months in a day. And we caused the fount of molten brass to flow from him. And there the jinns were worked for him in front of him by the leave of his Lord. And whosoever of them turned aside from our commands, we shall cause him to taste the torment of the blazing fire. Then worked for him as they desired, making high rooms, images, basin, as large as reservoirs, and cooked all kinds of things. Right? We subjected to him the winds. It blew gently by his order, wheresoever he willed, and also the shayateen, the devils from the jinn, including every kind of builder and diver, mashallah. Right? So he had a lot of power. He had a lot of power. You know, in his army was marching along with the wind, and he could hear the animals that he had, and you know, and he had the jinn. All of his army were marching along. And as he was marching along, he came amongst a group of ants. When he came amongst this group of ants, the ants said, come on, let's go in our dwelling. For Solomon and his army don't see us and they'll trample us, right? And then Solomon gave us a great dua that inshallah ta'ala we can all take with us. You know, there were 144,000 prophets, 313 messengers. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserved the sayings of some of them. For what? Because it's important. So let's see what Solomon said. He said, فتبسم بركفا من قولها وقال ربي أرزقني أن أحوى نعمتك الذي أنعمت علي وعلى والدين وأن أحمل صالحا ترضى وأدخلني برحمتك في عبادك الصالحين. Solomon said, so Solomon smiled, amused at the speech of this ant, and said, my Lord, inspire me and bestow upon me the power and the ability that I may be grateful for your favor which you have bestowed on me and on my parents, and that I may be righteous, I may do righteous good deeds that will please you, and admit me to your mercy and to be amongst your righteous slaves. Think about it. A king listen, if you're a grocery store manager, sometimes we get the Pharaoh syndrome. We start to think that we're better than everybody. We kicking people out left and right. Get out the store. Get out the store. You know, when you become a ruler of sorts, it's very easy. A police officer, you know, how many of these officers and people with power overdo their power? But Solomon was appointed power by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he still was smart enough to know to be grateful for the ni'mah he gave him. Right? And to ask him to keep me in nearness to the righteous salihin. So being grateful means on this dunya to have nearness, to have your friends who are righteous. You know, if you don't have friends who are righteous, guess what? Birds and the feather flock together. You know, you start to become like them. They don't become like you. You become like them. That's why, alhamdulillah, this masjid is packed. Find a Muslim brother and cling to him. And remind him as he reminds you of the goodness. Inshallah ta'ala, that's all I have. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu